All right, let's go. 3 for 3, 3 for 3.
Who's leading?
It's me. I'm gonna lose. My ego's gonna take a big hit. If I win this, I'm buying a lottery ticket. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. That lottery ticket's looking sadder and sadder by the minute. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. No!
I got you with the same thing twice. Maggie, would you go ahead and tell the audience what we're watching today?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Rated MA. I'm Meg. This is Allie. And today we are continuing our watch of Andor Season 2, Episode 3, The Harvest. And I'm so freaking excited. This series is so awesome so far that I can barely wait to hop into it. But first, I gotta say that Allie and I are going to be taking notes during the episode, just so we have a discussion at the end. If you want to stick around, feel free. We would love to see you there. But yes, that is why we will be looking down during our watch. I think that's about it. Allie, are you ready to watch episode 3?
I am. This is the end of the first arc. I'm terrified.
I'm terrified, but that means more Diego Luna and get to see him and Bix together. So I'm here for it.
More in Diego Luna is always better.
That's all we need. It's like the eye, but in actual outer space.
Oh, trust Tony Gilroy to give me fucking pretty. Look at the ships! To give me beautiful visuals.
Oh, that's cool.
That was a good shot.
Hot wiring.
But what is he hot wiring?
I think he's trying to get the ship to start. I probably. Oh!
Cassian! Cassian just out here fucking with these ships.
Cassian should not be allowed to pilot.
Someone get K2SO. They need help this man.
That was so funny.
Cassian is killing me with these ships, man.
Got the call from 600 this morning. I wish I had better news. We're next on the inspection schedule. Awesome. They finished there today, so tomorrow.
Oh. Oh, I love that.
This dress is gorgeous.
Again, her dresses keep getting better. Oh, there's.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
We can walk out there right now. Tell them all to have a lovely afternoon. But that it's not yet time for a marriage.
One last out.
I wish you were drunk.
Poor Mon Mothma.
I know.
What is tied around his head?
A rope of some sorts? Like a headdress?
It looks like a big ribbon in the back.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the thing in the front.
Mm-mm.
That's a gorgeous space, though. I would definitely I would get married there.
I would definitely get wasted there. Is that what you almost just said?
That too. Oh, he's gonna cut her braid.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was.
Mm-hmm. Nice little jazzy moment between these two.
They're just having a domestic moment.
And he's the one cooking. He's okay. All right, you two.
Girl, please. I don't know if I've ever seen her smile. That freaked me out.
Yeah, it seemed, but she has a really nice smile.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
She is. Is he gonna peek in her stuff? Is he gonna be nosy?
No, he's OCD. Why are they both freaking out so much? I bet it's his mom.
Please be his mom. Please be Cyril's mom.
Yes!
Hello.
This is Dedra.
Edie, please.
Edie, that's her name.
Do you have spiced tea?
Since when are you drinking spiced tea?
When I see you so rarely, are we not allowed to change?
Well, we don't have spiced tea.
His mom's a bitch.
I love her.
I did not come all this way to see Cyril disappear again. Show me your wonderful home.
Dedra looking terrified of her boyfriend's mom. Real.
I've been upside down for 2 days.
Let me work on that. Keep this signal open.
I need to go home.
No.
Don't do that.
Come again?
Come again?
It's very crowded there right now.
What does that mean?
Just give me a few minutes.
Why can't I go home?
You won't
Uh-oh.
go. There's a frequency blockade.
What's going on there?
I don't know, which is why I'm telling you to keep the signal open. And
A young, delicate boy with only a mother's love and determination. If not for the
They both look like they want to kill themselves.
my parents were criminals. They were arrested when I was 3. I was raised in an imperial kinderblock.
Wonder why you are the way you are.
We had everything we needed.
Except a mother's love.
We didn't know what we were missing.
Please welcome.
Cyril's so done. That was the best scene.
She has to be doing this on purpose.
You know she is.
Dedra versus a boy mom is perhaps the funniest thing I've ever seen.
This is the best thing ever.
This game ends now. You want Cyril in your life, you will think before you speak. Twice a month, I'll make sure that he calls you. I will guarantee a level of engagement, but it will be inversely proportional to the volume of anxiety you generate in our lives.
Quite a mouthful.
I'm not done. You can spare me the Uncle Harlow testimonials. I've had a look at his ISB criminal files, and that is not a story you want to be advertising.
I love him. Okay, low-key, I love her protecting him. I actually care about their relationship, and I
Yeah.
think she actually cares about him. I love that she stood up for him. I'm so dead ass. That was so fun.
It was.
She said, stop stressing out my anxious chihuahua boyfriend. He's already stressed out. They're so Doberman and Chihuahua coded, but she's the Doberman.
Bounced around until she passed away, and then Mom stepped in.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
He did that on purpose. Why? To follow him?
Yeah,
Probably.
I think so.
This is such interesting music. I like it. Mon, oh.
And how to make sure you rest when you need to.
Be fine, Bee. We'll have so much fun, we'll forget all about them.
Oh. Oh.
Speed. Well, left out front.
That's not good.
You need to be protected. I'm not sure what you're saying.
I am. Is that like a remix of the club mix from Neomos from season 1?
Could be.
All right, I'm trying to go to a Chandrillan party. If you're from Chandrilla, hit me up. I'm trying to come.
It looks fun.
Yeah, it's the Neomos Club mix, but it's like a remix.
It's a good mix. They know good music. What can I say?
It's going on my playlist.
Shots. Let's go.
Mon Mothma out here cutting a rug. Love to see it. And Brasso's gone. It's just her.
That's not good.
Will is on his way, but we don't know where he is. I'm so dead ass. I'm getting FOMO that I'm not at this party. I need to be there. Can you imagine how much fun this day on set must have been?
It's stressful. I'm always looking for ways to relax.
Ugh.
You're disgusting.
All that hard work. You must have strong hands.
Oh,
Cass, baby, I'm gonna need you to hurry the fuck up.
that was nasty.
Dope as fuck.
Oh.
Such a simple choice.
Yeah, Vix.
Meanwhile, Mon Mothma, the tonal shift is killing me right now.
I'm getting a whiplash.
Hit him again, bitch.
Lieutenant!
Is that Bix in his uniform?
I don't think
Oh no, it's him.
it's him.
Sir,
She cleaving half his head. Yep.
bounce up! Six with me, you five to the prince. Let's go. Let's roll!
Well, here comes Cassian. We know he's not far. It doesn't take that long to drop in from Atmo.
No.
Not in a fucking tie.
He tried to rape me.
He's dead. Step out slowly.
Poor Vix.
That was a cool shot.
Mana's going at it. She's having a good time.
She's probably drunk.
Yes. Where's Otto?
What did I say about Tay walking somewhere and getting pushed off the edge? I thought that is that Cinta?
And here I am.
It is. It is
That's
Cinta.
Cinta.
Cinta's gonna kill him. Hey, there he is. There's Cassian.
That's gotta be him.
He learned how to pilot it now.
Okay, it is a TIE fighter. We said that a couple episodes ago
So
and then
we
got
were
confused. It is.
right.
Oh my god, I really don't want Brasso to die, but I really don't think he's making it out of here.
There's no way they're gonna kill him in episode 3. There's no. I mean, he might though.
He might die here, man. I'm not sure our whole gang is making it out. God damn, what is the range on a blaster?
That's a good question.
Since when do stormtroopers have good aim? It's like Galaga.
Ooh.
Suffocation via sand is a bad way to go. There's a scene in an episode of Barry where someone almost suffocates to death in sand, and it is one of the most harrowing things I have ever seen on film or TV. And we'll get to that when we watch Barry at some point. Oh.
Come on, Brasa. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
No, he's gone. Oh, I knew it. I'm actually really sad about that.
He's such a good guy. Oh. I wonder how she's gonna do it.
She's gonna shoot him in the back of the head, probably. Oh, was that necessary?
No, that was not necessary. Oh.
What about B2?
Yeah, where's B2?
He was staying with the other people.
You know B2 has abandonment issues.
Rightfully so.
That was a really good cut to black.
Wow.
That was really good.
Oof, that gave me chills a little bit. Okay. No, but I need the next 9 episodes, though.
I know.
Where are they? Well, Meg, that was Andor Season 2, Episode 3, Harvest. What did you think?
So freaking good, Allie. That is what I was missing.
I think that's my favorite of the 3.
Mine too. That is definitely my favorite. I mean, it makes sense. It's taking us to the next arc, like all that. Yeah. But so good. That's what, I don't know, like that energy, that story, like, I don't know. I just felt like that's what was lacking in episode 2. Episode 2 just wasn't that it for me, but this episode was it for me. It was so good. To where this is probably the least amount of notes I took because I was so like into this episode that I was just like,
We had some things in this episode that like tonally were so contrasted that they were like, it was like genuine whiplash in the best way possible, with specifically with Mon Mothma and Bix, with them both going through this whole thing. This episode is about pretending to be something you're not. And the only person who stops pretending, well, actually, the only person who doesn't stop pretending is Mon Mothma. Because if you go all the way back to Deirdre and Cyril, they're pretending to be whoever they're pretending to be with Edie, Cyril's mom, and then Deirdre kind of lets that mask slip a little bit when she upsets Cyril, which is, as much as I loved everything in this episode, I have to think that that was one of my favorite scenes, was Deirdre and Cyril. She don't play about her man, and I respect that.
no.
I respect that.
That was probably my favorite part of this episode as well. It killed me. It was so funny, but I do like how she did stand up for Cyril, but that was just killing me the entire time. I'm like, oh my God, that was the best scene. I will say that was probably one of my favorite parts of this entire episode. Probably the favorite part.
I had so much fun watching it. It was so enjoyable to watch.
Can we just talk about Cyril laying on the bed?
Like a Victorian maiden. I love him.
It was so funny.
Someone said, imagine drunk driving one of these. That's what Cassian was doing, apparently, because that bitch can't drive.
No, at the end, though, he could, because I think he was like, people are in danger. It really snapped him into it, and he figured it out. But it took him 3 episodes to figure out how to pilot this thing.
I'm looking at all the Andor memes right now on Twitter to see what we missed. And someone said the Mon subplot, my daughter is getting married, the Cassian subplot, and it's this fucking meme. Cassian escaping a TIE fighter, Bix fighting an Empire Lieutenant Mon Mothma. Just like bro, okay, I gotta stop looking at it because I'm gonna look at it the whole night. It's gonna fry me. Standout of the night for me has got to be Deirdre and Cyril. That was just hysterical. The wedding was beautiful. I loved how it looked. It was gorgeous. I feel really, really terrible for the Ferric survivors because they are, they're going through it. Yeah, they are slowly. I think we're gonna lose one of them every arc.
Who do you think's next?
Bix or Will? I would assume maybe Will.
Really? Because I thought you were thinking like, because the second arc is usually whenever what did you call it? The something horse. What was it? What was that term in screenwriting?
Well, it's the midpoint is the halfway mark, which would be
Well,
episode 6 or episode
yeah.
7. But then there's also the dark night of the soul.
That's it. The Dark Night of the Soul. So the Dark Night of the Soul.
The Dark Night of the Soul happens after that, though. So the Dark Night of the Soul is usually like it's usually Dark Night of the Soul, and then all hope is lost, and then climax resolution is like usually what that trajectory is. It, you know, screenwriting is interesting because it's not. It's so funny. You'll find people that will tell you screenwriting has to be a certain way or it has to follow a certain structure, and then you'll meet 1,000 other people that are like, "Fuck that, no, it doesn't." In terms of like general screenwriting, though, in terms of how we layer out a story, usually the lowest point for the character happens, also called All Hope is Lost, sometimes called Dark Night of the Soul. They are interchangeable as far as I'm fucking concerned. But it's the character's low point. That for Cassian would be the death of Bix. So if or when, if we're going to be realistic, Bix dies, that has to come around arc 3, I would determine. Like arc 3, like the end of arc 2, mid or end of arc 3.
Episode 6, like basically 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, it would be. I originally, I think, because we talked about this in another episode about my theories on when Bix would die. I think I initially said like 7, like which 7 would be the beginning though, and I find that hard to think. So I'm actually gonna pause it. I'm gonna pivot a little bit and say 8 or 9. I am cheating just a little bit because Diego Luna did an interview at Star Wars Celebration, I think, either at Star Wars Celebration or around this time, where he said that episodes 1, 8, and 12 are his favorite. And if 8 is his favorite, I am assuming that is when Bix dies. Yeah. So I'm cheating a little bit, but in terms of narrative structure, there is a reason why it would happen then. That's actually the middle of arc 3, because it'll be 1, 2, and 3. Wow, I just like my finger just twitched. That was
I
crazy. So it'll
saw
be 1,
that.
2, and 3. Then it'll be 4, 5, and 6. And then it'll be 7, 8, and 9. So 8 will be right in the middle of arc 3. And then it'll be 10, 11, 12, which will be 4th. So in terms of like a narrative structure, it would happen in that 3rd of 4th. That's about when the All Hope is Lost tends to fall.
I remember you mentioning that Cassian is kind of a hard ass in Rogue One, which he is, from what I remember from Rogue One, from like the couple times I've seen it. So it's been a really long time.
Don't worry, we're gonna watch it again. I'm gonna make her watch it.
Fantastic. I'm down because Diego Luna and also Rogue One is great. Do you think that Cassian becomes a hard ass because Bix dies?
Yeah. 100%.
That's his turning point, and that's when he's just like, no one else is dying?
I'm gonna make it worse. B2 Emo is going to die.
I'm gonna end it all. I'm done. I'm done with the show.
B2 is not there in Rogue One, and K2 is filling that spot because B2 is not there. So either we never see B2 Emo again and he remains on Mina Rao, never to be seen again, or Cassian tries to pick him up, tries to come back for him, and he is destroyed and like is unfixable. B2 is a droid that has issues though, so he would be of no use to them. So either they would destroy him and scrap him for parts or start over, or like I could see Cassian and them like trying to come back for him potentially, but I don't know why they would return to Mina Rao, because Mina Rao is going to have another Empire like presence in it. But also you got to remember the next episode is a year later. We're going to 3 BBY now.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to see B2 again. And if we do,
I think that was the end of B2. As much as that makes me really sad, I think that is the last time we will see B2.
yeah, I mean, we were told what was supposed to happen to him. He was staying with someone who was in the city, who was a resident there, someone who had a visa, who was legally able to be there. He was staying with her. She's nicer than Brasso. She's got his charging pod. Everything he needs to survive is with this woman who is legally allowed to be on this planet. So he should be, in theory, fine. There is no reason to return to his story unless Cassian is adamant that they get him back.
I don't think he will be. I think he knows there's way more important pressing things, as sad as that is, like leaving B2 behind. It is what it is. And I think just like leaving Brasso and B2 behind is just the way this is going to be. I mean, there's no purpose except like, I don't think with the storyline in the story, it makes sense to go back for B2.
I don't think we'll ever see Mina Rao again. And I don't think we'll see those people again. I think that is the end of that. That's the end of that story. Yeah. I'm curious as to whether or not Clea and Cassian have met yet, because they were clearly talking to each other. And if Cassian is working for Luthen again, which is interesting that was not answered as to why or how they started back up again. I'm still really curious about that. I'm hoping we get answers on that. It kind of puts a little hole in my boat for the whole idea that Clea could be his sister and he just doesn't know it because they've never seen, like, if they haven't seen each other and they haven't spoken, but they've spoken to each other very clearly. Like, she is the communications person in terms of Luthen's subsect of the rebellion. I have a hard time believing now, having seen the first 3 episodes of season 2, that they have not met before. I think they would have had to have met. And I also know that in the trailers for season 2, there is a scene, I believe, with with Clea and with Cassian. I still want answers about Cassian's sister. It doesn't really feel like it's important right now given everything, but maybe that's the point, is that he just gives up because there's no fucking point. They have so much other shit they have to do.
I don't know if they've met because people know Luthen to have his assistant. They know who she is. I think it's more of a risk because people know who Cassian is. He's clearly being hunted, probably still. And I think they probably see it's too much of a risk. I think their only communication is through the comms.
I can't see Cassian for any reason going to Coruscant.
I can't either. I think it's too big of a risk too for him to go inside that shop. I mean, the Empire's looking for him, and that's a huge Empire sector.
That's where the head of the Republic and all that stuff is. So
exactly, I think it's way too big of a risk, and they're not going to risk that unless Luthen went in his disguise, took off his wig, his toupee, and then he went somewhere to meet up with Cassian. But I don't think Clea would have come along. I think she would have been in charge keeping the shop going and keeping, everything go. Like, yeah, I think she would have just been placed in charge.
What next? We had the Lita and Stegan wedding, which was really fun. I loved it. I thought visually it was really beautiful. I love the colors of it. I loved the music. I love that it cut back and forth between that and what was going on in Mina Rao. We saw one of these temple figures, and I didn't catch everything that they were saying. I thought I wrote down 1 of 12, and that Skulden, the father of the groom, had said that this was the 9th one that had been found. He said only 8 had been found so far. This was the 9th one. Luthen found it and secured it. I believe they said it was like Chandrillan in nature, like it belonged to Chandrilla. Because he said like welcome home about it.
Yeah, it's a Sandrella thing.
Okay. There was a mention of Naboo, which just made me happy because I like Naboo. Naboo is a beautiful planet. We saw Cinta.
Yes, she's gonna go off Tay.
And we're never going to find out how, because I guarantee you it's going to happen off screen. And we're not going to know just that he died or he vanished, more specifically. I think Cinta is going to fake a letter that his wife left him and that he left and that he's leaving something behind. They're going to leave behind a paper trail of he left voluntarily, so don't look for me. And they're going to kill him.
Depending how bad his investments went, that it could be a staged thing.
Yeah, that he committed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Could be. He's gone, though. He's dead. I really liked the juxtaposition of that with Mon Mothma drinking herself crazy. Because I think, personally, I fully believe that Mon was drinking and acting like that at the wedding because she knew what was going to happen to Tay. She knew that Luthen was going to have him killed. She says to Luthen, I don't know what you're insinuating. And he was like, that must be nice, or something like that, where he basically was like, Luthen said something about we have to protect you. You cannot afford to fall. And she was like, I don't know what you're insinuating. And he basically said it would be nice if you didn't.
Yeah.
It would be so much easier if you were naive, but you know what's coming. And after that was when she started dissociating really heavy and getting into the thick of the wedding, which is really sad, but this is war. This is what happens in a war, and this is a rebellion.
He's turning against her. This is not going to end well. He's a huge, huge risk if he were to come out with everything that happened. Massive. And they can't afford that. So
he is a loose end at this point. And especially now that he whined and complained too much. That's the whole thing with Luthen, right? Is that he could have had Cassian killed had they found him between season 1 and season 2. But Cassian is so useful and he doesn't complain about what hand he's been dealt. He deals with it and makes it work, where Tay is not like that. He's a rich Chandrillan boy who is used to having money and status and power, and he got his hands dirty and didn't like it.
No, did not go very well.
No.
Mon gave Lita the last out because she went through that when she was 15. Mon was so heartbroken that her mom was drunk, and she even vocalized it, everything. And then Lita comes back and turns around and says, I wish you were drunk.
That whole conversation was basically Mon being like, my mom was drunk at my wedding, and when I was your age, I didn't know why. But now that I am in my mother's position, I know why she was drunk. And her daughter was basically like, I wish that could excuse your behavior. I wish you were drunk because then I would have a reason to be upset
Upset with
with
you.
how you're behaving. Yeah, basically, which is really hard to hear. But I mean, we talked about this in another episode. Guys, forgive us. We've just recorded 3. It's currently 1:20 in the morning for me, so I'm a little tired. One of the last episodes that we just recorded for season 2 here, I said I was like, I think I could see Mon Mothma offering her daughter an out and her daughter refusing to take it because when the Gorman massacre happens, Mon Mothma is dipping. She's got to go. She turns on Palpatine and she skedaddles the fuck out of there. And sorry to say, I don't think Lita or Perrin are coming with her, which is fine because I don't fucking give a fuck about them.
We don't want them there.
Yeah, Coruscant can keep them for all I fucking care. Or Chandrilla, whatever. Narratively, that makes perfect sense. I knew Lita wasn't going to take it.
No.
Lita can't agree with her mom. It's like reverse plot armor. She's not in the movies and she's not an important figure in Mon's life in Rogue One or in the originals behind my head. So therefore, I know she's not going to be there. Or if she is there, they're going to have to write her away as like she's back on Chandrilla or she's here or she's there or whatever.
Do you think we'll hear any more about, because I mean she's gonna cut ties when she leaves. But do you think up until that, like, we're gonna have any more interactions with Lita? Because she's married now.
I would assume that Lita and Perrin's story are going to tie together and like wrap up at the same time. Perrin and Mon will either get a divorce or will separate, and Lita will stay with her father, is what I'm assuming, and they'll stay either on Coruscant or go back to Chandrilla.
Well, wouldn't Lita live with her husband?
Or her husband. I guess Lita could live with her husband too, theoretically. We know Perrin does not agree with her about her politics, so there's no way he would support her. So when she publicly, I actually think it would be really interesting if we could see the fight that leads to her leaving, of like, she denounces Palpatine, she goes home, packs up what she needs to get out, and then as she's like trying to escape, Perrin tries to stop her and berates her, and she finally gets to turn around and be like, I fucking hate you, or whatever. I need Mon Mothma to get the catharsis of telling her husband what a horrible fucking person he is, because she's always so placid and nice to him, because that's the figure she's putting out. But when she doesn't have to be Mon Mothma the senator anymore, I want to see that moment of her telling him off, because I know how she's rescued, because she's rescued by the Ghost Crew and she's taken to Yavin to meet with the other figureheads of the rebellion or whatever. So I want to see the moments between Coruscant and the Ghost Crew.
I think we will get to see Mon have her moment.
She deserves it.
Yes, she does. She has put up with that for far too long.
Yeah, she's put up with it for like half of her life, at least, if not more. She's got to be in her 40s. She got married at 15.
Well, she got married at 15. It depends how long they were married before having Lita. So Lita is like 15, 16.
Yeah, Lita is 16, so she has to be at least 31. But we
Mhm.
know Mon Mothma moved to Coruscant at 16 to start
Yeah.
working in politics. So I'm assuming she had Lita like in her 20s, which would make her at minimum 35 to 40.
I'm thinking like more around 35, because usually having a child, especially with like a family with like status, is going to be, it's a huge thing. It's a huge deal. So my guess is that they probably push for people to have kids a little bit sooner. So at least I could see him wanting a child.
According to this list I found online, she would be about 46.
She's roughly 10 years older than in Ahsoka.
It's been a hot minute. I only saw the Ahsoka show once, so I don't remember it a ton. Did you ever watch the Ahsoka show? Okay. Someone said every episode of Andor season 2 is someone asking, where's Cassian? And then it cuts to Cassian in the most ridiculous situation a person can find themselves in. That is so him. It's not even funny.
It is, and I love him dearly. Did you have any other notes?
I did. I had one kind of pretty big one, which is the conversation about undocumented versus illegals.
I did have that, yeah.
Is like a direct parallel to what the hell's going on currently in our world, which is interesting to me because this show was done over a year ago, so that tells you how bad things are. It's so direct in its verbiage. I mean, it's quite literally is saying undocumented and illegals, which are terminology that is commonly thrown around, especially here in the United States. Like it's quite direct that that's what this is about. Anyone who tells you that Star Wars isn't political is a fucking idiot.
It was literally created, inspired by the Vietnam War.
Yeah, it's because of war. There's the original reason. I mean, it's called Star Wars for God's sakes, but it is, I mean, this is quite literally about politics. And it is a direct commentary about current political status as well as intergalactic, political status. I was a little shocked at the scene with Bix where she is like almost assaulted. That was hard to watch.
It was really hard.
I don't remember seeing a warning or anything about like the content of that. So I hope that anyone that is potentially triggered by any of those things, I hope everyone is all right. That was a hard scene to watch, even for someone like me who is not upset or triggered by things like that. But that was quite hard to watch. And then I give Tony Gilroy all the credit for saying the word rape because a lot of people won't
Yeah,
say it.
they won't.
A lot of people will say assault, but rape and assault are different things and they mean different things and they require different sentencing. Not that a lot of people get sentenced for it anyway, which is a whole other problem. As a screenwriter, myself, this is different for me because I am a woman. But for me, I have made a vow to myself that in anything that I write, I will never include sexual assault or rape because I feel oftentimes it is gratuitous and I feel oftentimes it is used incorrectly or used as shock value, which is cruel. It is a horrendous crime and it is horrendous to watch, even if it's fictionalized like it is here. And I'm sure there were intimacy coordinators that were on set for Adria, who plays Bix, and the other gentleman, I don't remember his name, forgive me. I'm sure there were intimacy coordinators. I'm sure there were lots of check ins to make sure that everyone was okay. But, like, still, that is hard to film, even if you are filming it. So, for me, that is not something I would ever include in my writing. However, in the case here, it's not that I don't mind it. I don't hate it here. I don't love it here. It's not anything to do with this. It feels cruel to Bix, but this is a cruel world. I mean, Bix is going to die. I do not believe Bix will be surviving this season. And after everything she went through in season 1, it's just like, man, this poor woman can't catch a break. Like, honestly, if Bix kills herself, I won't be surprised given all of the shit that this poor woman has been through. It was hard to watch, but the only way for me that that type of scene is redeemable is if the victim gets to kill their attacker. And she did. She got to kill him. She got to beat him over the head. He hurt her in the process, but that's like a typical fight scene. That is not as concerning to me. That was a little shocking. I'm surprised. That's the first of its kind in a Star Wars production. So props to Tony Gilroy for stepping up and saying the shit that isn't said. It's interesting that this was brought up in this conversation, but Bix as a character, man, I just feel so fucking horrible for her. She has been through so much stuff. Like, it's just not even fair to her. Yeah, that was hard.
It was a really tough scene. Really awful to watch.
I think it was done fairly tastefully in that the audience should have picked up on it almost immediately. Like, as soon as that character was introduced, I was like, oh, he's flirting with her. And then when I realized his intentions were not pure, I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. I had no idea how far it was going to go.
When he came back, I was like, this is not going to go well. And then he started talking. I was like, this is going to lead to that.
I had no idea how far he was going to go with the particular scene that we had. But as soon as he started touching her, I was like, oh, like they're going to do it. I knew that they weren't going to actually rape Bix because I don't think Disney would have let that fly. I'm shocked Disney let the word rape go through. That was an intense scene. Honestly, it shouldn't be shied away from because it's what happens in war, unfortunately. When people in power, I mean, it's a power imbalance. That's what it is. A lot of the times rapists aren't even attracted to the person they attack. They just want someone that can't submit or won't submit. That's what it is. It is a power grab. And more often than not, the perpetrators are people in positions of power, whether it's police officers, military officials, people that work in high ranking statuses in corporations and stuff. Unfortunately, that is what it is. There's also commentary to be pulled from it in terms of like when you bring in the conversation of like undocumented and illegal people, like there is a conversation about people who would do anything to survive. Like, what would you be willing to do to live? There have been cases about people who have been in lower positions in terms of like they're undocumented or they don't have visas or whatever, who have been attacked by people who offer them help at first. Really sucks. It's not good. It's no bueno. Well, that was my last note, was about the undocumented versus illegals conversation, and then the stuff with Bix, unfortunately. Did you have anything else, Meg?
No, I have no more notes.
Okay, well, I guess we will end our reaction here. I'm actually like gutted that we don't have the next 3 episodes. I'm so excited to get into them. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. You guys can check us out in our reaction for Andor Season 2, Episode 4, coming out very soon for you guys, but for us, we gotta wait a whole week.
So sad.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Bye.